Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Putnam County Legislature. Today is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I recognize Legislative Movement.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing as I call on Legislator Advisio for the legislative prayer.
We seek blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with partiality.
Amen. Call on the clerk of the legislature for roll call.
District 1, Legislator Montgomery. Here. District 2, Legislator Goldman.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Almazio.
Present.
District 4, Legislator Nasarino.
Present.
District 5, Legislator Elman.
Here.
District 7, Legislator Castellano.
Present.
District 8, Legislator Sage.
Present.
District 9, Legislator Farrell.
Present.
District 6, Chairman Young.
Present. We have three proclamations tonight. At this time I call on Legislator Advisio for National Recovery Month.
Okay, so we have with us Mike Piazza, DSS Commissioner, and with us is James Schiller from St. Christopher's Inn. Thank you. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of one's overall wellness, and whereas prevention of mental and substance use disorders works, treatment is effective, and people recover in our area and around the nation. Preventing and overcoming mental and substance use disorders is essential to achieving healthy lifestyles, both physically and emotionally. The recovery of individuals helps improve their health and the health of their loved ones and of the entire community. We must encourage relatives and friends of people with mental and substance use disorders to implement preventative measures, recognize the signs of a problem, and guide those in need to appropriate treatment and recovery support services. Whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature invite all residents of Putnam County to participate in National Recovery Month. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim September 2023 as National Recovery Month, and together with the Prevention Council of Putnam and the Putnam County Communities That Care Coalition, encourage all Putnam County residents to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's Recovery Month. This is very near and dear to my heart because I lost a very close member of my family to addiction and ultimately overdosing. So this is very important, the treatment.
Thank you. Thanks. Recovery is so important. Before I ask James to say it, on behalf of the Prevention Council, who will not be here today, and Cove Care, Eric from Cove Care, as well as Doris Levinsky, who came down with COVID this weekend, so she's not here tonight, and Father Dennis, who also from St. Christopher's, who also has COVID. So on behalf of them, our Oasis agencies, when addiction takes away someone's life, sometimes completely their life, sometimes it strips them to their soul. They've lost all hope. They've lost all their friendships. They've lost their family. They've lost their ability to survive, basically, and their willingness to live. But recovery, and James can tell you much in greater detail than I, and all of the providers who are not here tonight, that in recovery, people can get better. Treatment works. People do recover. People become healthy. They get their families back. They get their health back. They get everything back. And that's why recovery is so important. That's why we honor treatment this month of September. And Nora just asked me for a second. Nora asked me just to say on her behalf of Farms Acres that Farms Acres pledges that they will work with all the community agencies to bring people to recovery, to help people come to recovery. So.
I didn't know where to begin, so I'll just begin anywhere. When I worked in the Bronx 30 years, I worked with chronically ill. It was a death sentence, HIV, and then they had substance use on top of that. I came back to Graymore because 38 years ago I was a friar. I don't understand how old I am 38 years ago. I walked that building and they said, "You know the mission, we want you." I said, "Okay." And so I came back to St. Christopher's, but the difference is, here I learned how it crosses socioeconomic barriers. I was in my house, somebody's working the air conditioning, he saw St. Christopher's on my tree, he goes, "I don't know if I can say this, I was there." I said, "You can say whatever you want." And I can't. In the Home Depot, a man comes up and says, "You saved my son's life, he just got married, he's been clean 8 years, he's having a child." I mean, this is, since I've been up here, it's everywhere I go. And we had an alumni picnic, and people stood up 1 year, 2 years, 30 years, 40 years, one of the priests said 43 years. It was really impressive and moving, and stories of their family, their sponsor, their grandparents, their grandchildren. It just crosses socioeconomic boundaries. And I do the metrics now. I've done the metrics. Nobody else is doing the metrics. 52% of our guys have a mental health visit or challenge. That's more than half. It wasn't like that years ago. It was 10, 20, 30% unknown. So it really is it's a dual diagnosis. It's everywhere, and we do everything we can at St. Christopher's. Even with COVID, some of our staff are working remotely, and they're sick and coughing. They still work remotely to see the clients. We call them Brothers Christopher because they're all equal to us. So that's in a nutshell.
Organization. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All on with the state of Nasarino for recognizing Sheriff's Week.
Whereas the Office of the Sheriff has been an integral part of the criminal justice system in New York State and in Putnam County throughout our history, having been established in the state's first constitution in 1777 and continued in every succeeding constitution, and having been one of the original constitutional offices guaranteed to the people upon founding of our county. The Office of the Sheriff has evolved into a modern, professional, full-service law enforcement agency manned by fully trained police officers using state-of-the-art technology and applying the latest and most advanced theories and practices in the criminal justice field. The Office of the Sheriff is unique in the community, and duties to the office go far beyond the traditional keeper of the peace and extend into many facets of public service, including maintaining the county jail, providing security in our courts, dispatching emergency services, and serving and executing civil process for our courts. Therefore, it is fitting to celebrate the historical contributions of the Office of the Sheriff and the significant role the sheriffs play in our modern criminal justice systems. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do recognize the important services provided to the citizens of this county by Sheriff Kevin McConville and members of the Sheriff's Office, and do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd to be the Sheriff's Week in Putnam County. We are very grateful for all the men and women who serve in the Putnam County Sheriff's Office and all they do to protect us and to keep us safe. And they go beyond what's asked of them. They're our neighbors and our friends, and everything they do is surrounded by their commitment and dedication to people that they have taken an oath of office to serve. Thank you.
Sheriff McConville couldn't make it this evening, and in like to thank everybody for recognizing the men and the women of the department, and we thank you.
Thank you.
I call on Legislative Sage for recognizing the Putnam County Youth Bureau on their third annual youth-led 9/11 memorial.
Zoe. Zoe is Zoe Lukash.
Yeah.
Is the representative. And then, of course, we have Janine Cunningham, our Youth Bureau Executive Director, here with us tonight. This proclamation is recognizing the Putnam County Youth Bureau on their third annual youth-led 9/11 memorial. Whereas on September 11, 2001, the peace and security of our nation was shattered by terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 innocent people. 19 terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airplanes, crashing them into both the north and the south towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, the United States Pentagon in Virginia, and the pristine fields of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Although the terrorist goal was to tear at the fabric of our nation, arising from the very ashes of that tragedy came the remarkable spirit of unity, compassion, determination that will never be forgotten. Many brave individuals tirelessly participated in an extraordinary, difficult, and dangerous rescue and recovery effort, in some cases voluntarily putting their own well-being at risk. Each year, the anniversary of the attacks is a sacred day now and throughout the country, as citizens honor the memory of all who were lost that day. The Putnam County Youth Bureau recognizes the importance of introducing this tradition to younger members of the community. This year, the Youth Bureau will host their third annual youth-led 9/11 memorial by reading aloud the names of those who lost their lives on that day. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature hereby recognize the Putnam County Youth Bureau and encourage residents of Putnam County to attend the annual youth-led 9/11 memorial on September 11, 2023 at Putnam County Bureau of Emergency Services. So congratulations to you. I'm very happy that you guys are doing this. We'll never forget all those who sacrificed their lives and all those who worked tirelessly, our first responders, and ensuring that our youth will never forget that and lead on this tradition by celebrating, memorializing this ceremony.
Thank you. Thank you. We just, on behalf of the Youth Bureau staff and all the youth that will be participating in the memorial on Monday, it's been a lot of youth involvement and planning, and youth will be singing and reading the names out loud. So if you want to just follow along. So it's a student at Brewster High School. She's also one of our youth mentors. She's on the youth board, and she's also a youth board member.
Yeah, we invite you guys all to the memorial. It's September 11th. It starts at 8:45 at the Bureau of Emergency Services building. So I'm just going to be reading names, reading an essay, and somebody is going to sing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 4 is the acceptance of minutes for our regular meeting July 5th, 2023, regular meeting August 1st, 2023. Item number 5 is correspondence from our county auditor. There's no activity during this filing period. Item number 6 is pre-filed resolutions, the Personnel Committee. On behalf of legislators Castellano, Nasarino, and myself, I'd like to move forward with item 6A, which is the approval of a fund transfer, purchasing department, its reclassification of account clerk to senior account clerk. It was discussed at personnel. It's in the amount of $1,675. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6B is the approval of a fund transfer. Social services. It's additional fiscal manager position from November 6, 2023 through the end of the year. It's in the amount of $16,720 with zero fiscal impact. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I recognize Chairwoman Sage of the Health, Social, Educational, and Environmental Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Yonke. On behalf of legislators Crowley and Nasarino, I would like to bring forward agenda item 6C. Is an approval for resolution changes to the Putnam County Youth Bureau, Putnam County Youth Board bylaws. They're updating their bylaws to Resolution 109 from 1978, so they're just updating their bylaws.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I call on Chairwoman Advisio of the Rules, Enactments, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Yonke. On behalf of myself, legislators Elmer and Goulman, I move 6D forward, which is the approval for fund transfer, Board of Elections, election management server. This is computer equipment for $28,433, and contracts are $9,277. This is for updated software and hardware for the county's voting machines. The current system dates back to 2008, so I believe this is essential to the accuracy of our election results. There is zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
6E is the approval for settlement of litigation, Orlando versus the County of Putnam. And this was discussed at the last rules meeting.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. This time I call on Chairman Elmer of the Economic Development and Energy Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Young. I'd like to move forward with the designation of the Putnam County Tourist Promotion Agency.
Discussion. Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you. I just have a comment. I will continue to petition the state and the county while we're promoting tourism in Putnam County. We're not offering any resources to deal with the tourism that we're inundated with in Putnam County. This money that we get from the state for the New York program just serves as promoting tourism outside the county. And as you've probably heard, we can't handle the tourism that we have in my district. So we do need the support of the county resources because every dime that a tourist spends in my district goes directly to Putnam County and is not shared with Phillipstown. And I will continue to petition the state for support as well.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
This time I recognize Chairwoman Nasarino of the Protective Services Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Yonke. On behalf of myself, legislators Anadizio and Sage, I would like to move forward with agenda item 6B, approval of Department of Public Works for use of capital facility reserve. The Department of Public Works have proposed to use $1.3 million from the capital reserve to fund project 23C P14 the Fire Training Center. The county's existing fire training center is outdated and currently unusable and has long ongoing safety issues. Without a viable fire training facility, local emergency services and personnel are forced to travel at neighborhood county facilities. The lack of training within the county contributes to the difficulty in retention and recruitment of emergency services personnel and fails to fulfill the county's strong commitment to the safety and preparedness of our emergency services community. I'd like to move this forward. We are very excited here in Putnam County to plan to have our own new fire training center, which, as I just mentioned, will allow our first responders to train within the county, and it gives us the ability to for law enforcement as well.
Discussion.
Thank you, Chairman Yonke. I'm thrilled to see this move forward. This is state-of-the-art fire training center will increase training for our first responders, making them better prepared for emergencies. And as Legislator Nasarino just stated, that they have to, right now, go outside neighboring communities outside of the county for their training courses. So by providing this training center right here in Putnam, I'm hopeful will maximize recruitment.
Thank you, Chairman. I think it's a wonderful thing. I want to thank the county executive for having the foresight in doing this. And it could be an asset to have local trainings or local first responders don't have to go to other counties to get the training that they need. And being a new facility will have the best training to protect the citizens and the first responders with the work that they do.
Any other discussion? This is an example of the county giving back to our local municipalities, our town, fire departments, EMS. They all will be able to use this facility. It's certainly positive for Putnam County. All in favor? Aye.
Moving on to agenda item 6H, approval budgetary amendment 23A039 emergency services fire training center, local assistance and tri-bill consistency funds, and capital facility reserves. This is Commissioner of the Bureau of Emergency Services has requested this amendment to earmark funds for the demolition and site work and foundation preparation for the new fire training center. $50,000 will be funded from the local assistance and tribal consistency funds. Another $50,000 will be funded from the Bureau of Emergency Services. And we are taking $200,000 from our capital facility reserve fund with the anticipation of having that money be replenished with the efforts of Senator Hartman, who is applying for grants for this purpose. I'd like to move this up.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Agenda item 6A is budgetary amendment 23A043, Emergency Services Resolution 135 of 2022, ARPA funding earmarked for radios, police, and fire to repurpose for fire training center capital facility reserve funds. The resolution 135 of 2022 ARPA funds were earmarked to go towards the statewide interoperable communications grant and targeted grant program to allow the county to enhance their public safety operations by strengthening communications infrastructure, which is critical in emergency situations. It has been determined that the county will continue to utilize specific formula grant awards towards this project and can repurpose $1 million to go towards the procurement and installation of the fire training center and other project-related costs that will serve the firefighters of Putnam County fire departments and surrounding departments. Therefore, I would like to make a motion to move this forward as well.
Discussion.
Chair.
Just
making a comment that the Commissioner of Finance did state at the meeting that this has been determined that this project is an approved use of ARPA funding. I don't think there's any better investment in our community than the health and safety of our constituents, and I think this is a wonderful use of ARPA funding.
thank you.
Just to piggyback that, the resolution does state the county's consultants indicated that the fire training center is an allowable use of the ARPA funds, which is classified under the 3.4 public sector capacity category, which includes investment to support emergency services response.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Moving on to agenda item 6J, approval budgetary amendment 2038-052, Sheriff's Department Correctional Facility, use of T Commission funds. Putnam County Sheriff Kevin McConnell has requested budgetary amendment to utilize T Commission reserve funds to purchase equipment needed to provide internet access to the correctional facility and inmate law line. This is in the amount of $25,709.72. The use of this fund requires no taxpayer dollars. I'd like to move this forward.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, I call on Chairman Goldman of the Physical Services Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Yonke. On behalf of the members of the Physical Services Committee, legislators Castellano and Montgomery, I make a motion to move the following items. Item number 6K, approval budgetary amendment 23A048 for Public Works, Social Services, Risk and Compliance, Insurance Recovery. The Department of Public Works has a check for $6,273.41 from Geico Insurance to cover damages to one of the social services vehicles involved in an accident on March 3rd, 2023. This is to proceed with the repair of the vehicle.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6L, approval of budgetary amendment 23A050. Public Works, repurpose ARPA funds for Fast Street Project, pin number 8756.09. It is for $252,180.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6M, approval budgetary amendment 23A051. Public Works resolution number 135 of 2022. It's for ARPA funding earmarked for countywide highway infrastructure projects. Sprout Brook Road Bridge Project and number 8762.13. It's for $720,000.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6N, approval budgetary amendment 23A053. Public Works Article number 9 and Capital Facility Reserve Fund Project. So Emergency Operations Center, roof replacement, the cost is $225,000.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6-0, approval, the Department of Public Works, use of capital facilities funds 23CP15 for the Donald B. Smith campus improvements. Currently, there are no clear directions, sites and signage, and several unmarked exterior doors to each building, making it difficult for visiting public and for the staff to efficiently and accurately locate specific offices and services. In addition, there are several aging metal panels on the exterior of the building that are in disrepair. This project will not exceed $50,000.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 6P, approval, lease of a portion of Philly Fawcett Farm, the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Putnam County, specifically building number 6. Once built, this will enable Cornell Cooperative to provide further services to the residents of Putnam County.
I'm going to make a motion to amend the second resolved clause in the resolution to state that the legislature approves the lease as revised according to the additional terms set forth in my memorandum dated August 29th to the county attorney, which is included in the backup of this item. The important paragraph, so the third paragraph is lessee's use of the premises as set forth in Article 1 should be made more specific. Lessee's use should be consistent with lessee's purpose as a nonprofit entity and also consistent with the current mission of Putnam County's Cornell Cooperative Extension, to wit, the advancement of agriculture, the environment, human health and well-being, and communities through its agriculture, gardening, food and nutrition, energy, environment, and 4-H programs. Paragraph 4 is given that this lease is for 99-year term, provisions ensuring that the premises are used only for the stated purposes should be strengthened. Toward that end, please insert a material covenant that requires lessees continued compliance with the use of the premises as set forth in revised Article 1. Use of the premises for other than purposes set forth in Article 1 shall constitute a default under Article 16. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Legislator Montgomery.
Considering that this wasn't discussed in committee and we didn't hear from Cornell Cooperative about the changes, can we open that tonight for discussion and make sure? I'd like to hear from the executive director who's present tonight that...
We can't.
Why?
We can't open it for discussion. Our rules don't allow for the discussion.
Okay, well, being that I'm sure that the executive director was aware of this and I didn't hear from her as being opposed to it, I think it's fine. It's not fun, so...
I'm sorry?
I'm going to make a motion to table it until I can have this discussion with the executive director.
Okay, you have a second. Okay, seeing no second, we're going to continue on with the discussion.
I'm the one who asked for this amendment because the term of the lease is so long and none of us are going to be here down the road. And so I just wanted to make sure that the use of Cornell Cooperative Extension is as it is today and will continue to be for the same use.
Any other discussion? I made the motion. I was okay with the original terms of the lease. I felt that we're strengthening, I guess, the definition of the use of the property, and I don't think we're really changing very much with this language. Legislator Sage.
I would concur with that. We're simply using the same language from Cornell Cooperative's mission statement, which is also in the original lease, but it's just strengthening the wording. But it really doesn't change anything that has to do with the lease. It doesn't change anything with the mission of Cornell Cooperative. It doesn't change anything with our support of the Cornell Cooperative. It just adds that particular language: agriculture, the environment, human health, well-being, communities, such as agriculture, gardening, food, nutrition, energy, environment, and 4-H programs. I don't have a problem with that.
Legislator Crowley. Legislator
I just want
Nassau.
to piggyback on what Legislator Sage and Attorney Matthews said. This doesn't change the lease. All we're doing is strengthening the language, make sure the verbiage is more concise. Oftentimes we have contracts or legal documents where it's so broad-based that it's up to interpretation. This, I think, we're doing our due diligence here and strengthening the language to make it very clear. And again, it's not changing anything in the scope of the lease or the articles that are included within it.
Legislator Montgomery.
Thank you. I think considering that the extent of the work that's being done by Cornell Cooperative and the investment that Cornell Cooperative is making, we're basically just allowing them to use county property, which is really the property of the people, not us. I would, again, strongly suggest that we have an open discussion, transparent discussion in public with public input and the input of the Executive Director and the Cornell Cooperative Extension Board on this.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
On the motion to amend.
On the motion to amend.
Legislator Adamczyk.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowell.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Abstain.
Legislator Masserino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Now.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now discussion on the lease. Council is, now the discussion is on the overall, as amended.
Be on the resolution as amended.
On the resolution as amended. Discussion. Legislator Sage.
I'd just like to say that I think this is a great use of county property. Having Cornell Cooperative and working hand in hand with Cornell Cooperative is a benefit to everybody in our community. And I'm certainly in favor of them being on county property. And they're going to certainly make an incredible investment. And I think it's hand in glove with the purpose of Tilly Foster as well as the mission of Cornell Cooperative. So I'm very much in favor of this lease agreement.
Any discussion? I would like to thank Director Hubert for your patience and former legislator Albano for your contribution to making this happen. But after tonight, you'll have your lease. So roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adamczyk.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator Crowell.
Yes.
Legislator Elmer.
Yes.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Abstaining.
Legislator Masserino.
Yes.
Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Chairman Now.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I call on Chairman Castellano, the Audit and Administration Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the Audit and Administration Committee, Legislators Elmer and Legislator Goldman, I'd like to move forward the following. Item 6Q, the approval of fund transfer for finance to correct the vacancy control factor for 2023 entry. From time to time, the Commissioner of Finance comes to the Audit Committee to correct the books for the vacancy control factor and move money to the cut category. Zero fiscal impact.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Item number 7 is other business. Does anyone have any other business? At this time, item 8 is recognition of the public on agenda items. Any member of the public wishing to speak, please come forward, state your name and the town in which you reside.
Hello, Carl. I'm I just want to say thank you for Cornell Cooperative. The school government work. If something has to be done, you're able to get it done tonight without putting it off. And that means a lot because you know how it is with time. You just blink your eyes and months go by. So this is a great step in the right direction. I appreciate the folks and force. Thank you.
Thanks for your work. Anyone else? Item 9 is recognition of legislators. Legislator Montgomery.
I'd just like to touch on the proclamations that were made tonight. The tagline for this September's Recovery Month is every person, every family, every community. And I'd like to give a special shout out to the Phillipstown Behavioral Health Hub in Phillipstown, which serves as a center of activities, programs, and resources related to mental health and addiction programs, developed through partnerships among various community sectors and implemented for anyone who walks through their door. And I'd also like to point out and give a shout out to the churches and the facilities throughout the county who offer their buildings for AA meetings, and to those individuals who step up to run the meetings and give service through sponsorship, making coffee, or just showing up. Thank you for the community that you have created for those who are suffering. This program, this AA program, is based on helping people, not through being allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. AA does not engage in any controversy. It doesn't endorse or oppose any cause. Its primary purpose is to help people stay sober and to achieve sobriety. So to the selfless individuals who created AA, and to all those who keep coming back, I recognize you, especially during Recovery Month and always. And lastly, I'd like to thank our representatives, Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg and Senator Pete Harcum, for the Save the Hudson bill that was signed into law by Governor Hochul on August 18th. It's through their advocacy and the months and months of advocacy by New Yorkers opposed to the discharge of nuclear waste by Holtec from the Indian Point Energy into the Hudson River. This is a victory for citizen action, in addition to 35 municipalities who passed resolutions in support of this legislation. This legislature, with the leadership of the Health Committee, failed to answer formal requests from both Legislator Goldman and myself, and despite hearing from the concerns of our constituents, they failed to support the protection of our most important resource. So here's to Pete and Dana, and to quote a famous advocate for the Hudson River, it's all sailing up my dirty stream, still I love it, and I'll keep the dream that someday, though maybe not this year, my Hudson River and my country will run clear. Submitted by, with the exception of those last lines, which was written by Pete Seeger, I actually wrote the rest of it myself. Thank you.
Legislator Goldman.
Thank you, Chairman. Schools across Putnam County are heading back to school. I'd like to remind all the drivers to be especially vigilant for pedestrians before and after school. Throughout the last decade, nearly 1 in 4 child pedestrian fatalities occur between 3 and 7 p.m. So please, drive safely. I would also like to wish all the kids have a wonderful year back to school. Do well, study, meet new friends, and have a great year. Also, Saturday on September 16th is Putnam Valley Town Day. It will be held at the Putnam Valley Town Park at 156 Osceola Lake Road from 2 p.m. to 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's a great community event. If you're not from Putnam Valley, please come. You'll enjoy it, and hope to see you there. Thank you.
Anyone else? Legislator Sage.
Just a couple words about 9/11 coming up this week. There's several ceremonies here in Putnam County, and the one I usually attend is the one on Cornerstone Park, where we remember all those who perished, and we read the names of those who perished in Putnam County. But we also recognize those who selflessly ran into the buildings, whose names we're not going to read. But I have a neighbor who ran into the building and saved the last survivor. We have people who, we have lots of police officers and first responders who live in Putnam County who were involved. I have a cousin who worked with PIA, and every time they found a finger or a toe or whatever they could find, it was shut down, and it was very reverent. So I think,
as we remember those who gave their lives to help everyone in those buildings, it's also appropriate to also remember the sacrifices and those who helped on that day, who maybe are suffering with PTSD all these years later. And also I would like to recognize all of those, like myself, and I'm sure a lot of you, who made sandwiches for people who were down in the city. I made lunches, we brought it to our church, and our church came down and fed all of the people working on the pile. I mean, it was really truly a community event that was very heartfelt here in Putnam County. And I don't want to forget the sacrifices and the commitment for all of us. It brought us all together. We're all one nation, and I think we need to remember that on 9/11 as well. We are all one nation, and we're stronger together.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?